actually went into a category in India which didn't even exist.
There is a problem, I've already won. What next? Every time there is a narrative, it has got me inside a meeting, right?
Interesting.
Why you launch a product, why you didn't launch a product. Be consistent, keep on trying, don't give up.
Hi Ritika,
Hi.
thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I've had the pleasure, and BBT and the entire team have had the pleasure to shape Garuda's brand story with you. Having known you for last 5 years, from the time you spoke about Garuda to where it is today, and also realizing that to 2025 has been a breakthrough year where Garuda has raised 100 crore and also going towards IPO. Myself, even the audience who's going to watch this, want to know what moved the needle.
So honestly, it's the discipline for me. If you've seen me, I've been consistent from, I think I've known you for almost 12 to 13 years now. And I've been with Agni for almost 8 to 9 years now. Almost a decade with Garuda Aerospace, you know. He started it off. And then I just felt like I was a part of it when it needed the most, right? Like he had built a base, and then I just came up with a few things which started aligning with it. Now we would sit, you know, at home in a normal environment where we would discuss on, oh, what are we going to do next year? Do we have enough funds? Do we have this finances?
Absolutely.
All of these basic stuff, right? So all of those was good enough when you were running this as your own company.
Yeah.
But it was not enough. The day I felt like we knew that we were going IPO or we were working towards IPO when we realized that Garuda can't function like that anymore. It should start functioning like an institution, right? So we started working on, initially we would have WhatsApp groups and, normal way
The
of
whole
working,
startup
right?
hustle.
Yeah. So from that we started building SOPs, more structured way of working, more data for anything we produced. So from where we started of just making prototypes and delivering it to clients, we had to show results to people, like every quarter, what are we doing and things like that. So here what happened, I think the day we shifted from our boardroom discussions to like showcasing like on every quarter, like this is what we're expecting. Our consistency of trying, every time we saw a failure, we kept on improving, using that as a use case scenario. For us, it was, IPO was like a byproduct, I can say. Like, for us, every time something didn't work out, Agni and I we would basically use this as an opportunity to correct our mistake there and pitch it to the next client.
Wow.
So for me, every time there was a failure, I never took it. It was never like a situation where, okay, what next? Are we going to shut it down and all? For us, it was just that, no problem, let's try something new, let's try something new. So that is what has led this company to be diversified into so many sectors, because every time I approach someone, they come up with a problem statement and I started chasing that. That's when I was like, okay, this is a huge industry and it's new, there is so many opportunities for me. And at the same time, those opportunities kind of pushed us towards the IPO benchmark.
Amazing.
So that's
amazing. So from what I gather, A is, while like any startup, you had the hustle story, you have Agneshwar, who's not there here today, but I know his spirit is crazy, 10x multiplied to both of us. And I think, yes, the whole not giving up attitude actually has helped a lot when it comes to Garuda, because A, it's a virgin sector, and in this, you were dreaming so big and you are the first mover. So I totally concur with you. That has moved the needle, and I think your and Agneshwar leadership has played a huge role in this. So Ritika, it's one thing to have a dream and it's another to pursue it. You actually went into a category in India which didn't even exist. And in a category which doesn't exist, it's sometimes very difficult to build trust. Could you enlighten a bit on what went on building the trust in this category?
So in India, what happens, trust is actually not built in brochures. Here what happens, you're supposed to showcase it in experience, like you'll have to showcase it live. So when I say it's not built in brochures, whatever, like for example, you being our brand partner, I come up to you, I stop saying that I require a certain collateral or anything. I only started talking to you about the use case scenarios. I started telling you, like, this is my problem statement. How do I approach these audience? Like, we have different sectors now. There are students in RPTO, there are farmers for agricultural drone. There's again DAS sector where there are so many industrialists that we talk to. So approach is very different. The way you approach a farmer, for him, it's like he needs to see the clarity there. Like in terms of, is the drone doing the right job or no? Back then he was using a backpack spraying, or he'll use a tractor. For him, immediately he wants to see how fast will this happen, what are the benefits. And you should also make him understand that we're not doing something bad, because this is something new for them. Is it going to acquire the land? There are a lot of other issues that we face over there. So getting in there is a big deal. The minute you get in over there, how you attract them. So creating a brand and making sure they trust you, because you'll have to be present there every time they need you, because your audience is like that. Like for a farmer, he'll want to be, they're very they're very reliable. Like for example, you have to show up like maybe with the entire team of, you don't have to worry if the drone crashes, we are there for you. If it doesn't spray on time, we are there for you. Your crops don't get affected. There are a lot of cases like you wouldn't have even prepared yourself for it, right? Like you're more like, okay, the drone is going to like save a lot of water. These are the pesticides. This is how you work. But with a farmer, when you approach him, you're supposed to take care of all the other aspects which you wouldn't have even thought of.
I think they need assurance.
They need assurance. Exactly. But when it comes to an entrepreneur, when it comes to DAS, when you talk about drone as a service, we approach a lot of clients, right? So there what happens for them, documentation is important. How you present is important.
Correct.
A farmer approach is different, what he expects is different. Here, expectation is there, which is equal to how you present it. Imagine it's just written in some paper and you hand it over. It has no value. So the way you present it really matters. And 3, when it comes to situations where young generation, when we approach colleges, schools, when we talk about drone technology, for them, what I see in them is when they realize that drones are basically replacing where a human would once risk his life.
Yes, absolutely.
Like so many situations, like
disaster response
or anything, So in those cases, they feel like there's some purpose in what they're doing. So they would want to learn how to fly a drone or anything in that way. So I feel it's equally important, how you present and which sector you're focusing on. So based on that, the trust has to be created. Like for students, your approach is different, what they expect from you is different, versus because they need some sort of job security and things like that. For a farmer, he wants his crops to be safe and at the same time something where he can depend on without losing out on any basic aspects. And then, like I said, documentation for all these industrial clients. So these are 3 different aspects which we look at in 3 different ways. But trust, once you build it, you're in the long run. Absolutely. But if you fail to achieve what they are looking for, then you will not be able to survive here. So you'll have to be consistent and try to prove yourself. When you come up with a storyboard, you have to prove it.
Absolutely. And I think I was just going to add to that proof points are important for people to believe you. And you should actually, whatever that you say, you deliver. So I would not say that Garuda, just because of the branding Garuda is what it is today, it is because Garuda has delivered what has been promised, and that's how you build brand trust. And what I rightly also agree with you, that once you say something, you stick to it consistently. Excellent. Ritika, so for a company like yours, which is into deep tech, which is into defense tech, what matters more to your customers? Is it the product or the narrative?
So I'll tell you how it has worked for me. Every time there is a narrative, it has got me inside a meeting. Right?
Interesting.
And next, now you've set the base there, is supposed to execute it, whatever I've promised.
Yeah.
So for me, it's 50-50. It's never like you have the product there and you don't show the documentation or you don't present it the right way, they're not going to believe you. Imagine if, like I told in the initial discussion, where I told that if it's presented in a very shabby way, you will not trust it. Like there are few brands, like, you know, where you only go for it because you trust them, that there is a good after sales support, there is something. If anything goes wrong, you know that there is some sort of support from them. So I am actually working on, you know, how do I fix the problems over here? Yeah. It's a new industry. There are a lot of drone players in our country today, right? But no one's talking about what is next. Yeah. For example, there are so many people who have bought drones and things like that. There is no good after-sale network. How do you create that? This is indirectly linked to a lot of jobs in the market. So I am trying to build a platform where you can get all of these guys together. So here what happens, like I said, like this is just gonna be like a 50-50 balance, where you have your storytelling, your product is ready, your narrative is ready, like he's got you a meeting, you fixed it, now they're happy with it. How do you sustain this relationship? Yeah. Because these are all electronic projects. I mean, you know, like I don't compare them to any, I mean, it's like a gadget which requires like constant update and things like that. Today I get you used to a product. What about tomorrow? I'll have to give you a constant update because you've gotten used to it. Like there are a few Apple fans over here, like, you know, the minute Apple releases something, you're out there, you're going and buying it. I want to build that sort of base where you trust me blindly. I want to give you that entire support there. So for me, more than just giving that product today, I'm thinking of what are the problems that individual is going to face tomorrow and prepare for myself. Super. You know, like, okay, how am I going to handle this? He's definitely going to come back. But if I don't handle him the right way today, then I'll have to shut down him. Because I know this will maybe last for the next few years, but after that there is no market, you know. But if you set the base right, it's going to take a while while you build this entire foundation. Once it's set, it's very easy for you to go to the next floor, you know. So that is the effort we're putting currently.
Absolutely. But I love the start when you said that narrative opens the door, the story connects to the right person, and the product then delivers. That was the answer. Great. So Ritika, when we started working with Garuda, initially we knew that it was agriculture. It was touching the hinterlands of India. Then as the brand evolved, we also came across your purpose on disaster management. And these are some of the initiatives that touched us also as a partner. That we're not just shaping any brand story, we're shaping something which truly has an impact. But while that is a great story, my question to you is, how do you sustain scale with this purpose?
For us, what happened, I started looking at this purpose as and when it started scaling as a part of our culture and not like a mere campaign. So when you look at it in that way, like I said, drones are currently being used to solve day-to-day problems, be it for farmers. Like he wants to understand how can this work be done with lesser time, and how the crops can be more productive, and a lot of his day-to-day activities. When it comes to disaster response, what happens, I think I can give you an example when it comes to Chennai floods. A lot of young pilots, so for them it's like they just learned how to fly a drone, they were excited. So there was this call saying that we require X number of drones, delivery drones. Please come and see if you can supply some medicines. So there was this one individual in a high-rise building where he wanted insulin. So again, he had lost his father, a diabetic father. So it was a very emotional story for him. So what happened, he was given an opportunity to deliver these medicines there. Successfully delivered. He comes back and he's like, all these days I was doing, just flying drones, like going and getting you reports and, doing chimney inspection, all of this. But only today I felt like there was some purpose. Because of me, I saved, someone's life. Because of this one operation, I was able to fly. I was able to save someone's life. And that really, that actually, for me, it was like, overall, I'm like, disaster management. Like, what can I do? Like, overall this thing. But then I knew that I was doing something good there by giving them some sort of solution.
Correct.
But when I realized that even the people working with me felt the same, that's when I felt like, let's all come up with something which will, for me, if there is no purpose, I would never do that in Garuda. Like, that is one basic rule which Agni and I follow.
Okay.
If it's meaningless, like you just create the product for if it is trending or anything like that, I would immediately we would not continue working on it. For me, it's more like it should have some purpose.
Amazing.
Like, continuously, like I said, we look at these problem statements. I look at what the solution is, right? Like I gave you this example. So many stories like this. It's changed a lot of lives, when you're the reason to, help somebody at this sort of situation and things like that, that will really motivate you to come up with more solutions, like be it in defense, be it in agriculture, be it in terms of RPTO, where you're training so many people, where future, a platform can be ready for them. Like today, how Uber is ready for all the local car drivers.
Correct.
They already have, today no one likes to do this 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
They would just want to log in whenever they feel like, make enough money, rest for a bit, again log in. So I am trying to create a platform like that, which will be released future, in the future, what this app is all about. So I'm working on it day and night.
Super.
So that is going to basically help a lot of youngsters come on that platform and explore a lot of opportunities.
Amazing. And knowing you, I'm sure it is going to be another
Yes.
great product. But I also love to again, reiterate what you said, is that when that guy saved someone's life,
Yes.
Garuda actually has played a role in 2 lives. Saving somebody's life and also lightening up somebody that I am part of a bigger mission. I am no longer just a drone pilot. I am actually contributing with this purpose. So great there as well. So Ritika, when we started this communication, somewhere in between you spoke about, brochure, tactical, collateral, but I feel that over the past period of 5 years as Garuda has evolved, and so have your stakeholders evolved. What changes have you brought in your communication and the way you communicate to your stakeholders? That could be investors, employees, partners. How do you go about this?
Everything. I think you know me better now. How was Ritika back then to Ritika now? So back then it was IPO related work is more like go home and do your homework. It's literally that. Your office timing is not enough. Because see, back then when we used to pitch, it was more like, here's my vision, and today it's like, here's my vision, here's my data, this is my report, this is every quarter you'll have to give some sort of data.
Wow.
So the risk you take, everything should be backed with data. Why you launch a product, why you didn't launch a product, why is it not doing well, why is it doing well? So if it's doing well, do more of it. If it's not doing well, why did you create that?
Yeah.
So you're answerable for anything and everything. You do extremely well, like I said, they'll ask you to do more of it.
Yeah.
If you don't do well, again, why didn't you do something differently? So I feel, somewhere, few ways, it's like you're supposed to take that risk.
Yeah.
And here I am learning as an individual to document everything. As and when somebody asks me this particular thing is not there, I never take it as, okay, are you just pointing out mistakes or things like that. For me, it's like, okay, this is not there. Next project, all of this is set as an SOP.
Yeah.
So I myself am learning to create the structure between us, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to build this company in a way where it can function with or without me.
Yeah.
More back then it used to be founder driven, now it's more system driven. System driven, more structured. So whether a person is there or no, whether a person continues to work with you or no, that system doesn't get disrupted and your clients don't get affected. Nothing else gets affected there. That is what I'm planning to achieve here.
Great. So just to again ask you, just to get into a little more detail, working with you, I remember that we had this whole, back then we had drawn this diagram of Holy Trinity, where we had customer, where we had the investor, and where we had, let's say, a partner. Today after Garuda has grown, I think the Holy Trinity has now become a square, because we've got this bunch of people now working with Garuda. And therefore the communication also changes. For investor you need certain set of communication. For partners you need certain growth-led communication. If I had to ask you that, what is the kind of communication which we say employer branding or internal culture building? Is there anything that you feel that has worked for you?
It actually has. So when it comes for internal cultural building, what happens is when you talk about, like, for me, branding wise, I started off from changing the logo to everything. Like, why I changed that is who my target audience was. Like, why that was important is I wanted to be in one particular level over there. Like, when someone looks at your like your social media handles or anything,
overall
for
brand
me,
presence.
overall brand presence. And today I think when you go look online, or when you talk to anybody, everyone knows like who Garuda is. Like, I'm trying to be consistent over there, but by the time I try to explain it to my staff or any employees over here, trying to make them understand how important it is, I learn a lot. As to, like, for them it's like, okay, she's given me a target, I'll have to sell X number of drones, I'll have to submit X number of reports. But here I am so insistent on how you present that report, how you do, because I am looking at the overall picture. When you look at like when you just look at that particular thing, you know that, oh, that's Garuda brand.
Yeah.
There are 100 companies, like I said, but what makes you stand out? I want to be that person who's different. That's why it has to begin from that individual. If you don't change him, no matter how much you talk outside, because you're not going to go talk to all those 100 individual clients, you're not going to talk to everyone.
Correct.
So I feel that is important. Your hiring is important. So for me, I'm like, back then, from an operational point of view, I have started moving into more of governance, and then people, and then trying to build these SOPs, documentation, everything. Like I said, if that foundation is set, culturally everything will align. You might be talking in one direction, but your employee should follow in the same direction.
Absolutely.
Imagine you're pitching to that client saying that, okay, I will deliver this on this particular day. They're not going to take it seriously, and they're just going to submit it the way they want. But you have promised them in a particular way, like, this is the way I'm going to document it and give it in this particular, like, PDF or SVG file or any of those things. So how are they going to handle it? Usually what happens, they just take it, send it on WhatsApp and things like that. But you'll have to follow a process of how to make it more secure and things like that. So training them has become a part of, in Garuda, what has happened, as and when I started training people, I end up learning a lot. First, I try to understand why is he making that mistake. And then try to understand what is the root cause of it. For him, is he someone who's not aware of it? Or for him, he feels it's not important. So I basically tell him about how this can affect. If you do well, the client will be happy. You'll get more of these things. If you don't do well, we lose, end of the day. So for him, it's again like, okay, I'll get a job here, tomorrow I'll get another job. But I have built a culture in such a way where, purpose is the most important thing, right? So there's more clarity in what they do. They're very consistent. And,
Lovely.
So that is how I have personally.
Lovely. So purpose, clarity, consistency, these are few words where a good brand starts being seen, visible, consistently across multiple touch points. And having known Garuda, I'm sure these touch points have gone bigger and bigger, and the consistency of the brand is actually visible. So great. So Ritika, a lot of young founders may watch this someday, tomorrow, I don't know when. And if somebody out there wanted to hear one piece of advice from you to create something in a sunrise sector, that's just the way you did 5 years ago, what would be your one piece of advice?
I would like to say that, everyone would like to make a lot of noise. But sunrise sectors don't really look at people who are making loud noises, but they would look at his credibility.
Wow.
You have to stay consistent. Garuda didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen over a year. We've made a lot of mistakes. We've learned from that. There are a lot of use case scenarios, like I said, every time we attempt a demo, like we attend a demo, there are 400 things they tell us that it's not available. Minute things, like you wouldn't have even thought that this can be an error there. I wish I corrected. Those issues have been fixed in the next one. But there I find out something else. So all of this, I have a habit of sitting with my team and making notes of all of this. Love working on the root cause analysis. For me, if there is a problem, I'm already won. For me, in Garuda, what happens, I'm the only individual where they contact me if there's any problem. Flush is not working, drone crashed, any issue. Like name it. Nothing is too small, nothing is too big. So for me, indirectly, I'm able to rectify it. For me, if there's a problem, if we rectify it, it's better than reaching out in the public and then, that causing another problem, which will become very hard for me to go and, correct it later. So be consistent. Keep on trying, don't give up. Like I said, making a noise today might be worth it for a while, but you cannot stay in, it's not good for the long run.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you create a product. Are you going to provide after sales support? You're going to provide training. What next? Give that continuity for that product so that people like you for the brand and they get used to it. Like you've gotten them used to that brand for a day or two. What about their tomorrow?
Correct.
So when you create something, ensure there is some purpose and some meaning to it. So that's what I would like to say.
Lovely. I think a founder whoever is listening to this, a dreamer, they'll definitely love to hear this nice little blueprint from you, and it's wonderfully captured. Thank you. Thank you, Ritika.
Thank you.